Previously on 30 in 30, we made it to Denver, Colorado, and met Brandon Perna. After 8 long years, we were finally united, and we had what was honestly the best day of the tour. After an incredible day in Denver, it was time to head into enemy territory. A place that I had circled on the schedule for quite some time. Home of the Fail Mary and the NFC Championship game that still haunts me to this day. As we said in the last episode, Johnny pulled an all-nighter to finish the Dallas video, and he did so with about 15 minutes before our Uber arrived. I had gotten about 2.5 hours of sleep, so I guess you could say we were sleepless going into Seattle. That was Johnny's joke, I stole it.
I also spent $50 and broke down and bought us both of these because we need to get sleep somehow. Yep, I'm one of those people now who are in an exit row.
As we flew into Seattle, I saw snow-covered mountains and eventually Mount Rainier. But nice try, Seattle. Trying to wow me with your beautiful landscape? No. It's gonna take more than that for me to forgive you for what you did to my team. We settled into the hotel, and Johnny, running off of zero sleep, took a well-deserved rest, which meant I had to go to Villafield alone, into the belly of the beast. I made the trek over, passing murals of current players on the Seahawks squad, filled with dread. I had been in Satan's lair before when I visited the Viking Stadium, but this, I had to do solo, and I knew there would be pain. I then met the wonderful staff for the Seahawks, and they were so incredibly kind. But I didn't let my guard down, because danger was around every corner, and I was ready for it. And it was in the very first hallway that pain began. January 28th, 2015. A day that lives in infamy. The NFC Championship game against the Seahawks. A catastrophic loss for my Packers that broke my body, mind, and spirit. I put on a brave face and ventured on, but the first blow had been struck. As we toured the stadium, I found out some interesting facts. I was trying to acquire information so I could blackmail the Seahawks later, and I found out these fun facts. Like the stadium was built for $460 million. Got him. Using taxpayer money. Well, it turns out they actually funded it from hotel taxes. So that means that opposing fans helped fund the stadium. Meaning that not only did we witness some
the quality gets worse.
Heartbreaking games as Packer fans, but if you attended, you may have helped pay for it. Diabolical. It was then that more facts came out about the stadium, like the fact that they recycled 90% of the concrete from the old stadium upon which Villafield stands, or the fact that it's written in the contract that the stadium must remain in the top 10 amongst the entire league. So renovations, or as the Seahawks call it, fanovations, are at the heart of the stadium. They want to give fans who attend games the best experience possible. In fact, some of those fanovations are actually going on right now, like the Tunnel Club coming this fall, where fans can watch the Seahawks exit the locker room and take the field. And heck, they even offer add-on packages to get footballs from Blitz, their mascot, or you could even sit in the post-game press conference as a fan. Okay, sure, that's pretty cool and all, but again, I was ready for the other shoe to drop. It was then that they informed me that as of June 1st of this year, the entire front office staff was CPR certified. 100%. Okay, I'll give them that one. We then saw the field suites, and as I said about innovation, the Seahawks were the first team to provide field suites. And of course, there were 12 of them. Oh, the 12s. You see, the 12s are how the Seattle fan base is recognized here. You see, on game day, Villafield is loud. Very loud. And that's why they're the 12s. In football, you have 11 players on the field at once on either offense or defense. But in Seattle, the crowd is so loud, it feels like a 12th player. And the Seahawks, they take their fans very seriously. They even retired the number 12 jersey back in 1984 to represent the fans and their contribution to helping this team. And in 2003, a new tradition arrived, the raising of the 12 flag. From celebrities to everyday normal fans, at the start of every game, high atop the stadium, the flag is raised and the 12s let opposing teams know that they are here. All right, fine. That's good and all, but again, there was too much pain and suffering on my part to accept it because I couldn't actually like Seattle. Could I? Then it was the community work, the honoring of every Seahawks player who had been nominated for the Walter Payton Man of the Year award. Because it's not just about what they do on the field. In Seattle, it's also what they do off of it. Then there was just innovative things about the stadium. The solar cylinders that provided 25% of the stadium's energy. And if they didn't use all of it, it goes back into the community. Or the fact that, yes, while they have a lot of concerts here, they also have space every single year for local trade shows. In fact, in terms of land, the Seahawks actually have the smallest footprint of any NFL stadium in terms of the land that they cover. And because public funds were used for the stadium, they even have turned the stadium's original blueprints into works of art that you can find displayed around the stadium. And it was when I was doing this tour that I saw the second thing, the Fail Mary. In a hallway filled with Seahawk primetime moments, the other shoe had finally dropped. We went from the saddest I'd ever been watching a game to the most angry.
Golden Tate didn't catch it.
But maybe because it was on day 26, or maybe it was just the genuine care of the staff, that it didn't hurt as much. And the kindness, it didn't stop there. The Seahawks purchased a jersey of my choice to auction off for St. Jude at the fan event, and then I found out that they were providing Johnny and I with Seattle Sounders field passes and tickets. My first soccer game. As I exited the stadium, I planned the fan event at a local business, but felt conflicted. The staff was so welcoming, they did so much good for the community and their fans, but their team had hurt me so much in the past. I headed back to the room where I could think, and Johnny was still sleeping, and we were greeted by an old friend, Rachel. She had made her way to Seattle, her old stomping grounds, because she used to live here for years. It was then right before the fan event that the local business lost power. So, hoping we could get it back, we kept those plans. And before we headed out, we were even joined by EJ, one half of Bootleg Football. Brett Coleman, we saw him in Pittsburgh. We headed over, I saw the 12s across the street, and boy oh boy, there were a lot of them. Easily over 100 people, they made their way over to the sidewalk because the business had still lost power, and I informed them that I only had 2 hours to spend with them because I had to go to the Sounders game. And like every fan event, I was determined to meet with every fan, get them a picture and/or autograph. And now, it was time to do that at ludicrous speed. And we did. I got through every single fan who attended. The crowd was amazing, and of course, there was some trolling. You got to expect it at this point. But Seattle was also one of the most generous crowds yet. We raised a bunch of money for the jersey that went directly to St. Jude, and I received so many incredible and thoughtful gifts. The people were amazing. After the fan event, it was time to head over to Lumen Field once again. But this was for a different type of game. You see, I played soccer for many years, but this was my first MLS game. And when I got out onto the field, I wasn't thinking about the Jermaine Kearse TD. Okay, maybe a little bit. But then we met folks behind the scenes who were so incredibly kind to us. They told us where to stand, where to look during pregame warm-ups, and to catch the best moments. And immediately we felt like we were welcome there. And like the Seahawks who listen and innovate for their fans, the Sounders are the most pro-democratic team I have ever heard of. Their fans vote in their GM. I'd say that's pretty unique. And then we looked upon the crowd. And that was the moment where I knew I liked Seattle. They were so unapologetically accepting and inclusive. It was sports fans coming together, celebrating their team, while also celebrating acceptance. Everyone in that stadium was a sports fan. And just like I had seen countless times on this trip, football, or in this case, the other football, it brought people together. Different fan bases, different walks of life, beliefs, backgrounds came together to celebrate a sport that they love. It was when I took my seat that I realized that it was after midnight on the East Coast. It was now June 25th back home. This was significant because on June 25th, 2021, I left teaching to pursue YouTube. It was a leap, and it was a scary one. But now, 2 years later, I was in Seattle, a place I had never been, having the time of my life. And this morning, I went into Seattle, and all I knew was my preconceived notions of Seahawks fans, and of course, the pain that my team went through. But now that I was here, just like in every city, you got to meet the people. They weren't just Seahawks fans or Sounders fans, they were just people. And the people that I met that day in Seattle, they were damn good. And so maybe it makes sense that I like Seattle, because after all, it was that NFC Championship game that started PackCast. Because 2 days later after that game, I made a reaction video, my very first, and it for sure wouldn't be my last. And now, we were here. A reminder that there are 2 ways to donate to St. Jude, either on every video through the donate button on YouTube or in the link in the description. Both go to the same place. I appreciate you all.